Oh, I fooled you on that one, ladies and gentlemen. I love that intro so much. I had to use it from the other day because I'm in the temporary studio here at DYOR Live. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. I'm so glad to be with you again, hosting another episode of DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. And who do I got here in the studio with me? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pedro Garcia.
What up, my people? How you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing well. It is a beautiful day up here in the DYOR Media Network. Now, if you don't mind, do me a favor real quick. I just want to let you
Do
know
it.
I'm getting a crazy day in crypto
Oh,
because the market is actually, do me a favor. Sorry, I'm ADD today. Forgive me. I've had some craziness happening this morning. So if you guys please hit that like button, subscribe button, please hit the heart buttons as well. That helps so much with our algorithm. It has been helping you guys. All our OGs here have been helping out so much by just doing just simple little things by the like, the share button.
absolutely,
Just
absolutely.
so much. We really appreciate that. Also, if you don't mind, go and check it out. Since it looks like Mr. Beast is doing a lot of stuff over at Twitter, so we're trying to build up that Twitter stuff too. If you don't mind, go over to the Twitter account, hit the heart button as well to our live streaming there. We are live streaming as well. One person watching it, which is nice. Actually, it's probably me.
It's not me.
But in the same sense, it is immensely appreciated, and we really do like it, and it does help quite a bit. Um, the other part behind it as well is by you guys hitting the subscribe button or telling your friends to hit subscribe button, like you guys noticed. Now we're already up another 500. Dude, it's 10,500 on YouTube. That is
It's nuts,
absolutely
Pedro. It's absolutely nuts, but I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. I'm glad that we're finally getting the recognition.
absolutely.
And some of my old episodes of Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked are coming out of the woodwork there and getting some views, which
Yeah,
is good. Not season one, that doesn't get any views anymore. Season two, barely, but season three, they're rocking it. Might
rocking it,
just
man.
drive me to get season four out sooner. But everybody, since I'm doing a little StreamYard action here today, and let me know how our voice levels are. Are Pedro and I's voice levels the same, or is his louder than mine, or is mine louder than his? What's the story? But welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. I got a good story for you here this morning. This morning is that I looked through our analytics and we were getting a lot of people from Argentina because of the BRICS video, and we have been talking about their president. So I think the algorithm has been kicking it down there. Not tons of them, but enough. And so I was like, well, Pedro speaks Spanish. I said, all right. So I've been doing the Canadian thing lately, and a bunch of people speak that Quebecois here. But I thought let's bring it back to our roots. So today, in talking about BTC, the question is, which way is it going to go? You know, it came down to what Pedro had predicted, saying it's coming down into the 30s. I thought that as well, but Pedro told us
Shocking.
why from the charts point of view, and and then it did it. So now it's up. Is it plata or plumo? Is it silver or lead? It's the usual story if you want to take money from the drug cartels or not, but we're not going to go there or anything. Do you want to take the bribe or not? But this time we're talking about BTC and its price. What's it going to do next? What are the driving forces behind it going down? What are the driving forces of it going up? What's to come? But anyway, that's what's to come in the show today. But we're going to kick it off with Pedro talking about, you guessed it, BTC.
Yes, BTC, aka Mr. Beast, over here, for the algorithm there. Um, yeah, look, Mr. Beast here is doing a nice little jump, like I talked about yesterday. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I make my own tea, so sometimes I have a little leaf, a loose leaf there that kind of gets down my throat. So you can see here that we hit the that.
Welcome, Mr. Memphis. KB Well is in the house.
What's up, brother? What's up? All right, guys. So, guys, if you look at this here real quick, we have the 100-day moving average sitting right here at this level. And so this is where we're seeing the market going sideways here. Potentially, I said, if we hit this area, we need to see some major buy volume coming. really like major buy volume. And so I'm going through and I'm looking throughout the day. Got a good sell off throughout the evening, and we saw. But
Hey, Pedro, your mic's fading on us a little bit there.
oh, right now, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yep, that's good, good.
All right, sorry about that. My throat's gonna. I got. Just give me one. I just need to get a cup of, or not a cup. I'll just drink of water here real quick. You can see right here that the volume, as we're seeing for today, except for the last 30 minutes, we really don't. Or excuse me, the last couple hours, we really don't have a lot of volume coming in, at least buy volume, And so we're seeing this area here where we had the sell-off, and now we're starting to see some stuff come in. But for me, what do I always talk about? I want to see buyer wicks. I want to see wicks that indicate to me that we're looking to go up. And as you guys can see here, that there's not a lot of buyer wicks, but as we come to the top area over here, we're putting in more seller wicks as we're going up. Seller wicks, not a lot of buyer wicks, which indicates to me that it's most likely going to sell off below that 38,500 area again, because it's basically putting down a nice little slip and slide all the way down for it to go through without any, like anything to stop it. So it's if you can imagine a nice little slip and slide with a bunch of baby oil, and then on top of that, it's all hot and sweaty, and you got a ton of water. That's what it's building. So it's gonna be a nice.
So what you're telling us, Pedro, is this the dumpage last night, and this little correction here this morning, or correction upwards this morning. It's a fake out here. It's gonna go up a little bit, and it's probably on its way down right about now.
That's exactly what I'm saying here. That is exactly what I'm saying. You can see here, came down, boom. You can see how through here, there wasn't anything, it came back down. So this little pump here, it's honestly, I think it's probably turning around. We're hitting the 200-day, or we're hitting the 200 period moving average, which is the 4 and 8 hour, 8 period moving average typically. So it's just coming back. It had a bunch of sell-offs. It needs to bring sellers back in. And so to bring sellers back in, they push the market up, okay? And when the market goes up, all these shorters here are getting rid of their positions to bring the buyers in so the sellers can take over again up in this level of that 39,600-ish area to push it back down. So that's it in a nutshell. Yes, sir.
Well, since the topic today is BTC. Actually, the topic is whatever the viewers want to talk about in addition to what Pedro and I have in store here. But since the topic is BTC, is there anything driving it in the short term here, the next week or so? Is there any?
Absolutely.
Are the shorts still doing it? I know you just said something about that, but I was setting up the banner below saying not financial advice, so I didn't hear it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing to put up, especially right now since the SEC and everybody pay attention to this stuff. So, and since they are the primary safest website to learn about crypto, i.e. Gary Gensler, or quote Gary Gensler. Look, it all depends on if we close below that 100-day period moving average today. If we hold this with decent volume and we see it go green, then it's probably going to push back up and test that 8-period moving average at that 41,000. If we close below that 100-day moving average, okay, and we have higher volume for today, this is coming down. The catalyst is literally, do we close and stay above that 100-day period moving average? If not, then the next position is all the way down to the 200, and that's that 33,000 mark I was talking about.
Love to get in a nice little short position and hit that one, but I know as soon as I did that, they will push the market up by 2%, and it'll liquidate me.
Well, I mean, it depends on, like your entry rules, right? Everything's based off a rule-based system.
Right.
Allows you to be able to really kind of grow.
Where would you, what rule you would wait for that 100-day move, for it to close below the 100-day moving average before you even thought about it?
Yeah, so what it really is so this is what I'm looking for. I want to see it close below here, and then it's going to always pull back, all right? because what happens is everybody goes, oh, it's time to short. So it does a pullback,
Ah,
right? But it does a pullback on an inner time frame because most people don't have rules on how to actually enter the market. Like example, me, I want to see it get above this moving or this wick here, pull out the liquidity pool right here while hitting that 8 period moving average on the 8 hour, because the market moves in 8 hour sequential turns. Then I'm going to be looking to follow up with all my moving average where I have a conglomeration of multiple moving averages, right? And so they sell below. They get all the sellers to come in. They'll stop them out, building up their own, because whenever you have a stop out with a sell, there's buyers, and so the other person, the entity that's stopping you out, want to add on to their shorts. So what they do is they'll go through out onto the shorts by stopping you out with a buy, and the other person that takes that buy is the short of the institution. So you need to expect that because they always want to add on to the position as they push back up. And that's in this range of that 40,000 mark, which is that 400 period moving average, which is the 8 on the 8 hour. And so that's what I'm looking for. So at the end of the close of the day, if they do close below, they first, what do I always talk about? The market first has to go up before it goes down, right? So
right.
it's the same idea. We want to see it close and shoot up. Now, if I see the market close below and we start to see it really shoot down, that's sus for me. I gotta sit there and go, okay, they're messing with people, and this is one of the things that they do, right? You got to be able to nimble, but also have certain rules. And then what I do, after everything's all set up, I'm looking for my entry time frame. I want to make sure that everything is set up correctly. So when I get in on a smaller time frame, I don't want to see a bunch of wicks to the downside here, right? Like if I see a bunch of resistance level here, okay, on these wicks here, then I know I'm going to have trouble getting through this. But if I have small little wicks or no wicks at all, as you can see, it's going to be easier for me to go through.
Right. Crypto Mike in the house, coming to us from
Whoa.
Manitoba. The pig, he's in the
Oh,
Winnipeg.
Canada.
Quick side note, Crypto Mike. I was down in Niagara in the Lake in southern Ontario. Went to Wayne Gretzky's distillery, and they had a little thing there from a game that he played in the Oilers versus what's the Winnipeg's hockey team, the Jets or something like that. And the dude that took the picture said all it said was photo credit Mike. So I'm like, I wonder if that could be Crypto Mike. Anyway, that was my side note. Back to you, Pedro.
So, and please, if you guys don't mind, please hit that like button and subscribe. We'd appreciate that. If you guys haven't done yet, please do so. Also, I want to say Latin. I've gotten better on it. Latin.
No, you didn't get better on it. No, you haven't.
No, I'm trying.
So it's all just grayscale? No, it's not all just grayscale, but grayscale did have a lot to do with it. A lot to do with the volume because it moved from out of their expensive ETF into cheaper ones.
Absolutely. It's amazing how they can actually play things.
Hey, Anton's in the house. Anton was our guest yesterday. Thank you very much, Anton, for joining us. Supposed to be a big audience yesterday, but I blew it on the LinkedIn posting style yesterday. So, Anton, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. If you got any comments, please watch and ask.
Absolutely. So the biggest key is that we want to see if we're going to continue up, we need to close above that 100-day period moving average. Like I said yesterday, and this was really key, right? I said we need to close below, which we did with volume, as you guys can see right here, right? The sell-off. So now as we hold in between this area, it could typically ping pong sometimes before we now start to see a turnaround within that the 89 into the 100. If we do close here again today with volume, as we push down, the next position is literally down to that 200-day period moving average, which is sitting at that 33,000 all the way down to the 30,000-ish area. I have a zone right here, right, where we potentially could go all the way down to the 29,000 and then see a nice little pushback. So we've got a couple areas, but it all depends on what we do today by closing below the 100-day period moving average. So that's in a nutshell. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I want to bring this up here. That's what it was, ETH too. Let's talk about ETH here. So I talked about yesterday that ETH hit that 50-day period moving average, and we want to see it if it's going to continue. We need to see it go with volume. You can see we had pretty good volume, and then today we even had more volume. So we shot right through this area right here on the daily zone. So So I was wrong on that area. I thought we'd have a nice little bounce off of that, but we did
Well, that
not.
chart seems to be looking a little bit like BTC's there.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We did hit the supply area though up here for our stuff that we talked about. Actually, I think let me put this. We almost hit it. So you can see we basically almost tapped it, but then sold off into our area. So my next area that I'm looking for ETH is that 1756 area. So should be able to capture a short. You want to wait for pullbacks, right? Before you do get short, and make sure that you have whatever you use as resistance. You need to pay attention to that and be able to back test that, making sure you have a very high win ratio of your area that you place as resistance. And doing that, you will wait for a pullback into that area and then a pull down. Now, Anton knows very much about this as a market maker. This is what he would do, right? He would take the shorts because people are buying off of it. So he's taking the other side. Okay. And so as he's taking all the shorts, he is dollar cost averaging as it's moving up. Right. And then when it hits a certain point, the buyers get exhausted. They no longer have enough money to continue. So what does he do? Because he's creating fees and he has a book, he then can come in with his clients' money, push the market down, put them at good short areas, and then make his money, which is down in here, because he's taking the other side, where he'll push past where his market maker money was, where he had to take the loss. And so then he makes money as it comes down into these lower levels. And that's what they do. If I'm wrong, Anton, please correct me. But I'm pretty positive that's how you guys, I was never a market maker. Man, I would have loved to have been a market maker, though. I'll tell you that. Would have been a great, fun time.
or, or it would have been broke really fast. There's two sides to everything there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I would have made money. I do.
Well, it's great to be positive about that. I always think I'm going to make a lot of money when I trade futures. So it's like, oh, you made $20 after all that effort. Like, oh, great.
Well, if it's $20, but you're able to scale it, $20 can turn into a lot of money.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, the reality is, I tell somebody, if you can make $5 every day and legitimately make $5 after, right? Well, that shows you're consistent in whatever you're doing. You may not make millions, but $5 over 20 days, right, turns into 20 days. That's $200. That $200 then allows you to buy. Well, 20 days, you're able to then buy another contract. And so instead of you making $5, now you're making $10. So you do it again, 20 days. And the reason why I say 20 days is really because you have 20 days of trading in a month. Okay. And then from there, you made $400. So you then buy another contract. So now you're making $15 a day. And it's just a slow progression. That's all trading is taking what you typically do, and then you go through and you keep doing it. And then you scale it by adding contracts or adding stock. And it's a slow process, but
that's true, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how you do it. That's shit how you do it. Not that I don't believe in a quick rich. And here's the other part. Log every single trade you do. If you do not have a logbook where you can go back and go, what was it that I was thinking? What was it that I was looking at? Why did I think I should short that? Why did I think I should buy that? And then go back and back test that. Does that actually work? By you going back and logging that helps you out dramatically to make you actually a better trader. Right? And then you can say that was a dumb idea. Boom. Then, but But then in the same
I wonder
sense,
why I lost my shirt. Oh, I bought in at the highs.
yes. And so go and it's as simple. It's that every single day. It is the hard things in life that nobody wants to do. I was talking to a trader today, and he was like, "Oh, I hate logging my trades." And I said to him, I said, "But that's where the money's at." He goes, "No, that's
Yeah.
boring. Putting it in an Excel sheet." I go, "It is the boring things of life that make you money. It is the hard things of life that make you money. Do hard things." David Goggins it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a wuss. Do it.
Don't be a wuss.
Just do
All
hard
right, I'm
things.
betting it all on everything. Just
No,
do it.
no, that's
No,
not
that's
what I
not the
said.
advice.
That's
No, no,
not, no,
that's not.
definitely not. That's definitely not what I just said. Listen, should I call you CNN or something? You just took that way out of context. Should I say
No,
CNBC?
no, that would be Fox News. That takes everything out of
Yeah,
context.
even Fox News. I don't even care. Fox News, CNN, they all trash. So whatever you want to call it, it's all out of context. That's not. We're definitely let's tell the whole story. You know what I'm saying? And we're not just taking clips of people saying stupid things. You know, dude. You know what? You need
What?
to tell us. You need to tell us that story of why Mr. Obama became president.
No, why Mr. Trump became president?
Oh yeah, excuse me. Yeah, why
I,
Mr.
I'll
Trump?
tell that story, but not today. I have to put it together a little bit better in my head so it makes sense. It's gonna be a good one. It'll probably get a bazillion views. Uh, yeah. No, there's a story. There's a story lingering there, ladies and gentlemen, to why our nation's so divided between Trump and everybody else. And I was there at the beginning of it, and I will tell the story one day here. Not today though. It's a long one and complicated, and I got to be in the right frame of mind because I got to get it right. Otherwise, people will pick it apart and be like, "He's a shill for everybody else. He loves Biden," and I'm like, "No, I'm just telling a story. It has nothing to do with Biden." Shill. Yeah.
Whatever it be.
Speaking of shilling, who are we? We're not shilling anybody, but who are we shilling today, viewers? What do you guys want to see up? Pedro, go over the charts. By the way, I was supposed to have a guest today. A group called DYOR Exchange. There are new decks coming online based in Europe. And because of the name link to it, I reached out to them. It turns out one of their co-founders has a similar background as I do in the armored vehicle and defense business. So got to talking about things, and I was like, hey, why don't you guys come on the show? They just did a big Twitter Spaces about their app that's going to be coming out soon. They were supposed to be on the show today, but yesterday, if you didn't notice, we had all kinds of technical issues, and it threw me out of my game plan. I have a little checklist here of things to do and times to do it, and when I have a big group on, I like to promote them so we can get involved in their community and really get people to watch. Much in the same way we did with Pitmonk and getting the mainnet Z community here. We planned it out and picked a day for it. And because I wasn't able to, as they say, get my shit together, I put them off and I said, look, let's push it off till next week to talk about their new decks coming out and why it's different. We'll see, but they'll be on next week. So that means the dog is barking, but that means we did. Jesus Christ! I just got to go with it here.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but we didn't have a big topic today, and that's why you saw the topic silver or lead, plata o pluma in Espanol.
Plato de pluma.
Oh, Jesus, the dog. Hold on a sec.
Hey,
Hold
let
on
me
a
go.
sec.
Yeah, let me go ahead and jump in here real quick so I can show you guys some cool stuff. So I was looking at this right here, and when you look at what was it? Dot. Give me 1 second. A lot of the we're seeing a lot of those market, and I'm using dot for as an example. We're seeing it come off, and we're oscillating between that 89 and 100-day period moving average. So as we're moving, you can sit there and see that we should we're up a lot at our volume for a lot of the altcoins are definitely picking up to the downside. So you can sit there and run through and see all through here, it's picking up more so. And a lot of times what I try to do is I'll go like that and look at this and see. like Litecoin. Oh, that was the other one that you wanted me to check out yesterday. Litecoin.
Yeah, Chuck's mining Litecoin,
Yeah.
so we've been paying attention to it.
Yeah, so Litecoin, you can see here that it's definitely continuing moving down. It's literally below all the moving averages. And we have a pickup of sell pressure. So I do see it moving down to further status of that 49, 47 area.
Well, leave that up there for a second and show us more of the chart so we can see the whole thing. It seems, I mean, obviously Litecoin's going to follow Bitcoin a little bit here, but it seems not only is Bitcoin, is that the daily chart
This is
or
the weekly.
weekly chart?
You want the daily?
Yeah, pull up the daily at least, just so we can get an idea. If things I've been noticing on your charts is that the pullback in Bitcoin has been mirrored in altcoins and in other proof of work things too, like Litecoin. And so the whole market seems to be. I guess the best way to do that is go to the market cap chat. The hell are these things called that you're pointing to right here? Charts.
Yes.
Market cap chart. There's one. You have one of those, don't you? A total market cap.
Yes, I do. Give me 1 second.
Let's look at that one.
Here we go. We were looking at Raiden the other day. Here we go. Market cap. Cryptocurrencies, dominance. Here we go, market cap. So we're at we're 1.53. Okay.
Can you zoom into that until like a daily or weekly here?
Yeah, here's the boom. We can do the daily. So this is the daily right here for the market cap for the last year.
That's not the daily.
Well, it's so because this is all coins, so
I get you. Anyway,
so
this
I
chart's
can take
showing the
What do you-
same thing also here. It's showing in the past week the pullback that we've had. Not even in the past week, in the past 5 days. The pullback in all tokens. And there's probably an outlier out there that's done okay. But I don't like being in the corner here. I like being able to stand in front of the screen and point right to the screen. But it shows the whole market cap is pulling back. And so if the whole thing is pulling back, Pedro, because before you were looking at your BTC chart and talking about, or your ETH chart and saying where you wanted your entry to be, and based on certain rules. If you look at this chart, is it following the same thing? Can you look at the market from a whole and just say, I'm getting because some people, you and I tend to talk about individual tokens, but some of the listeners are using apps nowadays that aggregate the whole thing. You can buy a basket of crypto. You don't have to go buy 10 cryptos. You can just buy one share of a thing, or however much money you put in. If you buy $100, it sends it equally to the top 30 or top 50 or whatever you decide.
the problem.
And so they really just track the market cap.
So the problem is this with that, and I'm actually going to bring this up because this is something that is really important to understand. You need to pay attention primarily because it's all based off of market cap. A lot of those things, right? Like, okay, BTC is going to hold 30-40% of that. You're going to have ETH, which is going to hold 20. Then you'll have the top, because they have to asset allocate it in the correct manner so that you can, for lack of a better word, hedge. Even though we're seeing a huge sell-off, air quote, huge, within BTC, it's nothing compared to altcoins. I mean, if you look at Ethereum, right? Again, it's not as much. Let's say, and this because this has a point. Because it's actually a good point to bring up when we consider how indices work, right? It is an amalgamation of all of the whatever is in that indice. And so as one company does better and better and it holds more market cap, it then takes up more market cap.
Right.
All right. And if the other ones are doing bad, let's say the bottom 60% are doing bad, the top 40 can hold up and push the market up. So if you look at the S&P, and I'm going to bring this up because this is really important. This is why I tell everybody, like so by doing that, yes, your question is this: if that's what you're looking to do, you need to pay attention to Bitcoin, because you need to see how that asset is allocated, that basket is allocated, and percentage wise, how's it allocated? Because if Bitcoin's moving up, okay, this will then do really well, or that asset basket will be able to move up because Bitcoin's moving up, even though a lot of the smaller coins are doing bad. But if a lot of the smaller coins do really, really, really well and explode, then what happens? Again, you then receive more money from that.
Right.
But it's still in proportion to the percentage of allocations for it. So let's bring up, and I'm going to bring up the NAS. We'll just bring up the S&P 500 because this is a really good example. Give me 1 second.
Welcome, new viewers, by the way. Thank you very much for joining in. Just had a couple of people bump up the viewership. Thanks for joining in. If you haven't watched before, we're a crypto and digital economy show that kind of goes over the news of the day, policy, regulations, all sorts of topics that affect the digital economy. And then we get into some technical analysis, and Pedro goes over the markets and what's happening, not just from what's happening today or a swing trade style or scalp or whatever you want to call it, but in a broader context too, and on how so you can invest your money properly. That was my pitch.
Absolutely. But again, this is not financial advice. This is all for social and entertainment purposes only. Please consult your own tax person because that's the smart thing to do. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm looking for something here real quick. There we are. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull this up here real quick. All right. We are going to go into Holdings earnings. Where are we at? Indices. Index futures are S&P 500. Come on.
I got the second. Tom, you idiot.
So one of the things you can see here is in relationship to this. All right, so we're seeing the market push up. We're in all-time highs with the S&P 500. Now you're like, okay, so what's the point, Pedro? The point is this, is that you know that the majority of the S&P 500 stocks are actually negative. And there's actually 503 stocks, just so you know.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes, almost 60% of it are doing just okay. Doing okay. They're like doing 3-4%. It's only the top 7 or 8 stocks, because they're doing so well, they're actually pushing up the stock market. Literally. Because they're so massive that's actually pushing the market up. If you look at it, the majority of the stocks in the S&P 500 are actually doing pretty bad. And for whatever reason, it's not wanting to do what I wanted it to do. So give me 1 second. I'll just do it this way here. Let's make it easier. What do we want to call stocks? Individual stocks in the S&P 500. There we go, market cap of individual stocks. There we go. All U.S. livestock.
For those of you just joining us, if you could do us a favor, click that like button on the YouTube video if you're watching it on YouTube. Really appreciate it. It helps us out. Subscribe and comment. We're an interactive show. As I say, we take a lot of questions from the audience and we answer them regarding the markets or regarding anything or regarding what my shirt says today, which says striking balls.
Yeah, this is actually really frustrating.
And of course, I knocked my earphone out doing that. What are you looking for there, Pedro?
I'm looking for, there should be able to easily and quickly go into S&P 500 all the stocks that correlates with it. And so I wanted to show you, you could go through market cap as well as seeing percentage wise how it's doing for the year. And you'll see that the majority of them are not doing well. Like if you think about it, these are the top 500 companies. If you look at if you look at the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 is doing horrible, like in comparative, like to it's not at all-time highs. The Russell 2000. So here's a question: who in America uh, employs 90% of the population here?
Small business.
Small business, exactly. Now, when I mean small business, I don't mean like small mom and pop. Yes, mom and pop do help, but it's really companies that range between 500 to 1,000, 1,500 to 2,000 employees, around that, right?
Right.
Those are the small companies. And if you look at the Russell 2000, the Russell 2000 is doing very poorly, right? Yet we're at all-time highs in the S&P 500, right? And if you look at the bottom half of the S&P 500, majority of them are negative.
That's interesting.
So when you're looking, why isn't this giving me? This used to give me components, historical related. This used
Is
to give me a thing where you could actually see, maybe it's major indices, um, all the actual companies. Did, did it take it away? You got to pay for it now?
I don't know.
I used to be able to sit there in real time. You know what? Let me go to my portfolio. Boom, portfolio. My watch list. There we go. We'll just go to my watch list and then be able to pull it up. Okay, boom.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you got any thing you want Pedro and I to talk about, we'll hit the usual suspects like
All right,
Caspa
here we
and
go.
Gala and Theta and all those later in the show. But we're always up to new topics today. As I was saying earlier, I was supposed to have a guest today and had that all planned out, but didn't get the social media in the community engaged properly, so we didn't have a good guest or a planned out topic. So it's BTC as the default topic, and so if you want us to ask about a certain way of trading BTC or things about regulation or things going on in Washington D.C., let us know.
Charts real time commodities. Ah, this is so frustrating. They're not. Is it just me? How do I do this? Come on, Lord, help me out here.
Hmm.
Charts, news and analytics, technical components. Used to be able to sit there and gauge. It was pretty more. Maybe FinViz. We'll let you do it now. We'll see if FinViz.
All right. Well, we can come back to that one later. It's interesting to.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is this: is you're asking me about the baskets, right?
Right.
And it's based off of the allocations of the market. So if you're asking me, if you look at the whole entire market and you're trying to gauge, all right, well, what's actually happening? Well, what's happening is if I'm looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin has only had a 20% sell off, but then I have a few altcoins that have had 50, 100% sell off, right? It changes the market structure of that. And so it's a way to actually hedge your way in, or a better way to be able to have asset allocation that saves your basket of investments, making sure that you have the stronger ones with a higher amount of allocations. And if you have runners, like let's say you have an altcoin that you put into that basket and it just does like a 20x or a 30x, well, guess what? It then adds in, so you're able to take part of that profit, put it back into more of Bitcoin, or evenly distribute it throughout the whole entire asset allocations that you've built within your basket of investments. So that's super important to understand with what we're seeing, right? Like you would do the top 10, right? And then from there, pick 4 or 5, let's say like ICT. ICT was trading really well, right? So you could add ICT as it comes into the sell off. ICT, here we go.
What's
Excuse me, not
ICT?
ICT. I'm an ICP.
Oh,
Um,
internet computer.
yeah, the internet computer, right? So this is an algorithm, right? It went from $16 literally down to $10 now, right? That is boom, 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 half. It's about 40%, right? 40%. Whereas Bitcoin has only dropped from 40,000 to 30,000. That's 30%, right? So it's roughly a little bit shy. So this one is actually holding up pretty decent compared to, I picked the wrong one. It's actually holding up pretty strong in comparison to the other stuff that's actually happening. If we look at Gala, we said, let's look at Gala yesterday, right? Before I had to leave quickly. You can see here, right?
You had
Gala
to
isn't
escape
doing too
town.
well. Yeah, like
The
it
SEC
came.
is coming. Get out of town.
Exactly. So it went from 3 cents now all the way down to 2 cents, right? 2 1, right? So that's 30%, a little bit more than 30%, probably 40% right here at this level, especially at its lows at 2 cents here. Yeah, definitely. And the peak was 3.36. So it's about 40%, 50%. H bar. H bar, the peak of it was $10, or excuse me, 10 cents. Now the low of it is 6 cents, right? Again, 10, that's 40 cents, that's 40%. Let's try, you
Hold
can
on. Leave.
see,
Hold on. Leave H bar on real quick.
mhm,
That's another one. That what chart you got up there? The daily or
yeah,
weekly?
this is the daily.
That's another one that's been around a long time, and it's kind of following the whole past 6 months. Not even 6 months. Past 4 months since we saw the altcoins start coming back.
Yeah,
BTC started going up the ladder, and then the altcoins came roaring back up until right about the turn of the year. And since the turn of the year, optimism's been very high. People have been like, yes, we're in the bull market. But we've had basically 3 weeks of losses. Oh, that effing dog.
that beautiful, amazing dog who's letting you know somebody's at the door.
Oh, when we're in Ottawa, there's nothing for it to bark at. There's because we're in a high-rise building, just looks out the window. When we're in Toronto, like anyone walks by, there's a park behind the house here, and anyone walks by, the dog's like, "Look, people!" Rah, 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 rah. Drives you nuts because sometimes it happens at 5 a.m.
Dude, he's protective, bro. He's doing his
He's not
job.
protective. Yeah, he's just we'll just call it a little a-hole. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that we've had 3 solid weeks of money coming out of the market here.
Hmm.
And that's got to turn around. And that's kind of what I was getting at the market cap
Okay,
thing earlier.
I
It's
see what you're
got to
saying.
turn around. When's it going to turn around? I'm not asking you to tell me when, but the point is that for our viewers, they want to know when it's going to turn around. I want to know when it's going to turn around. You also want to know when it's going to turn around or not going to turn around so you can play the other side of the market. But the fact that the optimism, in yesterday, I want to link this back to yesterday. The optimism is high. Everyone's like, it's bull run time. Woo! And the charts show that the money is coming out of the market. And yesterday, you showed us how in the bond market, the rates are still going up,
Yeah.
which is not good.
And the reason why, so this is the reason why. So we're seeing Powell talk about dropping rates, right? If Powell drops rates, then, and he's talking about quantitative easing, right? That makes money cheap, which makes business cheaper to do. Means
Right.
I can hire more people and I can do things. And so when you start to see that, traders will then get out of interest rates, let the market go down for interest rates. That's the 5 year, 2 year. Okay. That's these things right here. Or, excuse me, right here.
We can't see those because you and I are in
Oh,
the way.
yeah. Well, I'll just show
Here,
right
I
here.
can move. I can move us. I just moved us.
Okay. So, nice. Dude, that was awesome. Um, so you can see here that the last few days, we've actually been pushing up on the 2 year, on the 10 year. On the 10 year, we have higher highs and higher lows. Okay. And we're seeing demand being created. And again, the 20 year, same thing, higher highs and higher lows. On the 30 year, these yields, these are yields, these aren't bonds, right? Bonds are, you buy a bond at a low rate and you try to get a high yield as much as you can, right?
Right.
Well, it's this interesting thing. If Powell is going to drop interest rates, i.e., these, then we should not see these rallying up. We should see these going down like we've seen here. But we're seeing it go up. And so it's almost like, is this a rope-a-dope? Where like the Fed is simply going to say, no, we're actually made a mistake. We actually need to drop the market, hence screwing over. The fact that you have the bonds correlating and saying, yes, we're going down and we're going down. Like it's one of those things. Now, granted, it's less volume now the last few days, right? We're slowing down, which is good. But like we have a trending 8 moving average coming in, and people are showing up less to buy our bonds. So is this literally people just not buying our bonds, or is this getting ready for it to turn around? We don't know. There's an
Good point.
open there's an open market that kicks them. There's an open uh not outcry. I mean, people do get together and buy this, but it's a select group of people, i.e., Circle, big, huge hedge funds, companies that are huge, as well as institutions like governments and states. Governments come, from our friends and allies, and ones that are not, like i.e., China. China holds a lot of bonds. They hold a lot of bonds. And so they've been cashing in because they need to be able to figure out a way to be able to pay for their craziness that they've developed.
They don't hold. They could dump all their U.S. treasuries. They could dump all of their foreign currencies, and it's
Still gonna
still not
happen.
going to pay that hole they got in their real estate market. They're
Yeah.
blowing up cities over there that are
Yeah.
brand new. Just it's like there's not even money to maintain them for the future. They're just knocking them down, blowing them up, digging up the roads, giving the land back to the farmers. It's crazy.
Yeah. It really is. Hopefully they won't be as strong on people of religious descent and different types of people. They have a very that's not theistic.
Monotheistic.
Yeah. Well, no, not monotheistic. I mean, is that a word? I've never heard that. Is that legit?
Kind of it's the our way or highway type thing definition.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Monotheistic. Yes. View of. I thought that, but I just didn't. Yeah, that idea of our way or the highway is how they view the world. And so
And
for
the highway
people,
doesn't lead away. The highway leads to prison.
yes, yes, yes. Good point. Yeah, yeah. You go to prison and you have to be re-educated. So hopefully they chill out and realize, okay, this isn't helping. Mao's way of looking at the world doesn't help a country, right? Doesn't help with free society to really, well, they're not free. I mean, they don't have a, but are we? Anyways, that's a side note. But what I'm saying is this is I'm seeing a slowdown in volume, yet we're still selling off. We're seeing increase in rates, hence pushing the market. um I mean, is he going to bring quantitative easing? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens. So it's kind of scary, to tell you the truth. It really is.
it's
I mean,
well, we know this. The economy is strong. I mean, there's trillions of dollars in GDP being generated all the time, and whether the
two
government
percent.
fudges the numbers or not, it's still a lot. There's a lot going on, and it's not reliant on any one sector here in the U.S. But it's still a house of cards.
Well,
You
this
know?
past year we increased 2%.
Yeah.
As GDP wise, that still blows me away because I mean, it just doesn't seem. Because here's the thing. This is the thing I'm going to bring up right here. Our small businesses, which really dictate it's the Russell 2000. Okay, so if you look at the beginning of last year, we were sitting about right here. Okay,
I don't know what
and look,
chart we're looking at here.
this is the Russell 2000.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so here's January 5th. We'll just sit there. And I'm going to broaden this out because in comparison to like really like the S&P 500 is up here. Okay. in comparison. Whereas our Russell 2000 is like nominal. Like this was 2021 20. This is COVID era. And then this is small business. This is what runs America right here. These guys right here. And you can see like it's not doing good. Like we're just sideways. Yes, we have this push up, but it's nothing in comparison to like the overall market.
It's interesting how cyclical that chart is. That's what's interesting to me. What is that? A weekly chart or monthly?
This is a daily chart.
That's a daily chart, and
This is
it's
what I
there's a
yes. Like, do you get what I'm saying? It's not like it's not accurate. What we're being said and what is actually being what you can see in the market, okay, is not a reality. It's not like this right here. I'm gonna put a blue mark right here. This was the beginning of the year of 2023. Shot up, came down, shot up, put a lower high in, came down, put a lower low in. Now we have a higher high.
good day,
But
Space Cap. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. No sound effects for you today, or for anybody, because I don't have it set up. But I'll take a break and listen to you guys. That's good. Thank you very much. Bring your friends.
definitely
Try
appreciate
the
it.
veal.
Try the view.
If
But so
anyone's asking, the Bitcoin price above my head here is from. It's not live, and when I'm using my regular studio, it's live. But that is a screen capture up there, so that is not live, and I can't make it go away. So
so are we still we should still be in the short um for our portfolio because it did come up and tap the 8 period moving average where we would have gotten short on the daily. So that we should be short there to be able to capture that. Um, um, the fact that we did buy instead of short all these things frustrates me. But hey, what are you gonna do? Y'all, I told y'all. I
oh,
told
you
y'all.
totally did. Although we did make some money on the Bitcoin trade, and let's see. Oh, I'm not logged in here. God damn it. It's impossible for me to log into CoinMarketCap. Ugh.
So like this is the part that I bring up because are we really doing really well here in America?
It's a good
No.
point when you bring up all the businesses that are in the negative in the S&P 500 and the
Hmm.
in the Russell as well. That is a very good question. It seems to be
Um,
some. It seems to be some outside. I wonder. Maybe they're counting all of the Nvidia stock trading
yeah.
in the GDP or something like that, because as we all know, that's been a heavily traded stock, or for that matter, MicroStrategy. That's been a heavily traded stock. What was I just looking up here? Oh, right. Market cap.
Yeah, so it's been some really interesting stuff to say the least of what's actually happening in the economy. And like most people are hurting from a financial standpoint. Like they go to the grocery market and they sit there and go, I can only buy so much. I can only get so much now in comparison to the previous time. And businesses aren't raising their how much you get paid for or how much you get paid in comparison to the actual market and what it's doing. So it's really interesting to sit there and see what we're seeing, you know?
It is, and the kind of the major unions in the U.S. are just kind of starting to catch up as contracts come due, and because unemployment is low for people that want to do the work. There's still a lot of people not on the unemployment rolls that are technically unemployed, uh, and there's a lack of people coming up the ranks in skilled labor. A good example is pilots. They need like half the pilots in that work for the U.S. Airways are going to retire in the next 10 years, but they only have like a predicted replacement of 15% or something like that. 50% are going to retire. They've only got 15 to 20% coming in as recruits. So their pay is just doing this, going up, which means uh, which means God, my brain is off today. Fares are going to go up because the airline's got to recapture the cost of the pilots. And if the fares go up, airline fares are a major driver of inflation ratings, and so now inflation's going to go up. So we're gonna hit that circle.
Shocking. And if inflation goes up, then what does yield have to do? What do the Fed have to do? They have to raise rates. I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's a pilot, and so we follow the aviation industry heavily in the family. The good and the bad, including sides of Boeing airplanes just popping off in midair.
Oh, wow.
Man, I just can't. For some reason, I just can't get into CoinMarketCap.
Nice.
Anyway, what's BNB at? Oh, pulled back to 296. It was just getting ready to tap where we bought it for the portfolio, and I'm like, I'm looking at these charts you're showing me as the money's still coming out, and I'm like, nah, better dump it. Should have dumped it yesterday when I thought about it when it was at 317.
It's all good. Sometimes, I mean, we can always put a option on it and then capture. I mean, that's more of your.
Yeah, I think Crypto Mike is right. Long-term BNB is still a good thing as Binance sorts itself out. It's the bad news for Binance is basically over, unless there's some more gremlins getting ready to come out. But they've been having some good news lately, and people are starting to go back and use the BNB chain again for good things other than just scams. The scammers have moved on to Solana.
It's funny. That's honestly God truth, right? Like all the stuff that's happening with that is really, really interesting.
Here's a general rule for everybody: whenever a chain's token is booming, it's because the amount of rug pull and scam contracts on that chain are going up exponentially, and you saw that during when Bonk started on Solana. Bonk was Solana, right? Yeah. Started on Solana. It started down there when Solana was like $20 or something like that. And then it started going crazy. People started coming in, so people had to buy Solana in order to buy Bonk. So it started going up. And then the scammers came in and said, we're going to launch 1 million rug pulls on it. They launched, like, by now I'm sure the number's over 100,000, but at the time when I read the article, it was 70,000 scam contracts, and each one had to be funded with at least a little bit in the liquidity pool to make it look like it was a real thing. And so the scammers had to buy a lot of Solana, and it just drove the price up. And Solana people behind the scenes or in front of the scenes are saying, well, it's our utility, it's good things to come, blah, blah, blah. So we deserve an 8x, because of it. No, that's not why you 8x'd. You 8x'd or 10x'd wherever you got in because so much volume came in to buy the Solana token to feed these contracts. That ultimately were rug pulls. 70,000 of them. Maybe 100,000. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick social media break. Thanks to all of our viewers so far today. Because I didn't have this community on, we've had a slower day than I thought. Only 27 viewers today on YouTube. We've had 10 on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. And a couple on Twitch. So thank you very much for watching. I'm not even going to try with Twitter. We are broadcasting on Twitter today. We'll aggregate those 3-second views or the views that we get from people on the toilet scrolling Twitter. But Pitmug, welcome to the show, Pit. Thank you very much. Where are you, Pitmug? Hi guys, just in from work. Oh yeah, right. It's 1:00 here. For some reason, I was thinking it was the evening. That Pitmug was working the night shift. I'll catch up what I missed once the stream ends. Not a lot. We talked a little bit about the markets and BTC and what it's doing. But Pitmonk, I have, in case you didn't notice, yesterday I had technical glitches, and so I wasn't able to watch that Spaces that you wanted me to. Texas Wolf says, good morning, DYOR Live. Thank you very much, Texas Wolf, for watching. Appreciate it. Darrow says, hi, Monk. Hi, Charles. Hi, Wolf. Let's see what else. Let's catch up on Pitmonk. In everyday living, I would estimate inflation to be around 25% for the past 2 years. The government numbers are not true life and leave out a lot of essential products. I have to agree with you on that. I
Agreed.
mean, the fact that they come out and say it's 7%, I mean, there's a lot of things that had to go down in value or not move at all for it to be 7% because, I like have cereal for breakfast and I buy cheap cereal. I don't buy the super choco sugar pop bombs. I like to buy just the regular stuff without sugar added and stuff that gets the system going, if you know what I mean. It's good for you. And it's now like $6 a box when it used to be like $2. Like store brand, just stuff to put in your body to make sure you still can be a chemical reaction for the day. And now it's like $6. And I'm like, come on, man. That's not 7% inflation. Here in Canada, it's even worse because the government put a carbon tax on all levels of industry, and then redistributes it to the people. And so everyone gets like a check for $6 every couple of months or something like that. But the food industry is getting absolutely hammered by it. So for instance, a corn farmer, you want to buy some corn? Well, now the corn farmer's got to pay like an extra 25% tax or whatever it is in Alberta and Manitoba and out there where the agriculture lands are on this diesel fuel. So diesel fuel price goes up. And then what is most stuff for agriculture you got to do after you harvest it? You got to dry it, right? So you got to dry it so it doesn't rot. You got to pay your heating bill for that, which now there's a carbon tax on top of that. Then you got to truck it to the market or put it on a train to the market or packaging groups or whatever you want. There's an extra tax on that. And not talking like 1% tax. It's a lot. And it's the carbon tax because Canada pollutes so much. Here's a hint, they don't pollute at all compared to India and China. And so the food prices are jacked up at every level. And so when you add, 10% here, 10% here, 10%, 10%, it's not that they say, oh, it's just a 10% tax or 20, whatever it is. No, it's at every level. It's like a VAT tax with no exemptions. And so all of a sudden you can have a huge increase and it drives inflation like crazy and just some money comes right out of your pocket because it's for food and you have to buy food. It's the most ridiculous thing that this government in Canada has done. And they say, oh, well, we're being nice and woke and all that and stuff. And we're like, no, but you caused the price of food for cereal to go from $2 to $6.
So in America here, you can see, okay, December of 2020 to December 2023. Okay, so 1 year. We've only had, guys, the U.S. government says, because this is the CPI, Consumer Price Index, right, which you buy, and it has certain things on it, right, and that only the government actually tallies, and a lot of them don't even really matter in your life because you really don't buy them, but a lot of them you do, so go figure. And we all know supply and demand is what really gets things to get moving. And there's a lot of things on that list that isn't put on, that used to be put on back in the 70s and 80s where they would actually give you real numbers. But that's for another day, another time. But you can see here in December of 2020 to 2023, which is last month, you can see here that we only had three. If we had $100.
I'm just looking at a news page on your screen.
Oh, you can't see?
I'm looking at the Golden Gate Bridge here.
Oh, can you see the calculation right here?
Oh yeah, that calculator in the middle. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Hit that Control plus button. Control plus. Blow it up.
Where's that at? Actually, I don't think I can.
Just on your keyboard, hit Control and the plus button.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Control plus. I got it. Yes. All right, so this is really interesting. You can sit there and see right now. Man, that's a really clever thing. I can't believe I didn't even think about that. From now on, I need to remember that. Thank you.
Doesn't work with all websites. Some of them rescale it as you do it, but some of them it works fine.
I love it. All right, let's bring this back down here. All right, so this is where we're at, the CPI inflation calculation. So if you had $100 at the beginning of the year, okay, and you invested it, then it would have made, or not invested it, but your power has the same buying power. Your $100 has the same buying power of $103, which basically means you have a very small amount. That's inflation. Inflation is 335. That meant that's 3% and 35 cents, or 3.35% of inflation from previous December. And what I found really interesting though is if we sit there and we go, all right, so 3%, let's go back to 2021. Let's see what that would be. We need to jump 7%. Now let's go to 20. Calculate. That's 17%. Look at that. In 2 years, we've had 17%. And a lot of that is actually fake, because some of the items that are on that list aren't legit stuff that most people buy. Some of them you do buy, and some of them that everybody buys are not on that list. Now, those do fluctuate, like oil or your gas that you put in your car. But we know that over a long haul, we've seen prices in oil go up, right? We know that we have, and we're talking 20% go up. So it's just one of those things that we're sitting there that is not on it, that they say, well, it fluctuates so much that we don't want to track it because it doesn't give us a true reading. But those true readings are the true readings that we use, that we have to do
Right.
every day, like cereal, right? Like gas in your
Right.
car,
Fill the
right?
gas.
Like rent, okay? The price of wood, like those little things are super important.
Well, I have a feeling rent's going to go up. I personally, I've been a homeowner a couple of times in my life, but currently I'm renting in both Chicago and Ottawa, and the rents have not been going up much. But what has been going up are property taxes, as the cities struggle with having to pay their employees a lot more, because especially in Canada, they have public unions out the ass, and I don't understand the concept of having a government, people unionized, when the boss is the taxpayer themselves. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. But and they're holding governments hostage, and wages are going up a lot, which means the government's got to have a bigger budget, which means property taxes are going to go up, which means the rents are going to go up a lot. Like in Ottawa, they're talking about, and in Toronto for that matter too, things like 50% increases in property taxes. And
50%?
yeah, yes,
Bro,
and they have rent control in Canada too, in Ontario and in Ottawa too. So landlords can't just charge whatever rent they want unless there is a huge increase in property taxes. They can pass that right on, and so rents are going to be going up, and they just won't let people build new houses, so the supply is still constrained. It's just ridiculous. That's a whole nother show that I could go on forever about housing and the lack of affordable housing and whose fault it is. Because I got it figured out, ladies and gentlemen.
that's just crazy, man. I just blows me away when I think about that.
Oh yeah. What do we got for the comments here? I forgot to do my.
Oh, oh wow, we got, yes, wow, guys, Bidenomics in action, I guess.
Yeah.
Sheesh, Space Cat, don't tell anyone till after lunch so we can buy on the cheap. What did
Yeah, Space Cat was talking about on the hush. On the hush. Project launching soon.
right now?
With this temporary mic that I got. I feel like I'm a 1950s crooner, or maybe Barry Manilow or something. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. Okay, I'm not. That's enough of that for me. Anyway, Dara, you're right. The supply shock, tax, etc. Yeah, most of this loss of purchasing power or dilution of fiat inflation equals wealth transfer from the bottom to the top. It's no doubt that the wealth is being transferred out of our pockets into other people's pockets. There's no doubt about that at all.
I just don't understand it. Like, how is it? Like, how is it legal? It's brilliant.
Welcome, Facebook viewers. We got some likes coming in from Facebook. Thank you very much. If you're watching on Facebook, come on over to YouTube and join the conversation. I can manage the comments from both platforms. So leave a comment in Facebook if you'd like. But if you want, come over and drive our engagement over on YouTube. It really helps us. Helps us in the long run.
You know, it's so funny. I was going through, and did you hear about Elizabeth Warren getting the community? What was it?
No.
She made it. She made a statement saying a new USGAO, a US, I'm messing up the report, confirms that rogue nations are using crypto to dodge sanctions and undermine our national security. And then the community notes and Twitter says the U.S. Treasury Department owned February 2022 National Money Laundering Risk Assessment reported states that fiat is the preferred currency for financial crimes.
No. In fact, Elizabeth Warren withdrew her bill the other day for due to lack of support. In fact, it was the quite draconian bill, and she had 20 other senators signed up for it. But the lobbyists came out in full force, saying, "Hey, you guys are wrong," and to the point where Elizabeth Warren even sent letters to a lot of the lobbying firms, telling them they are undermining the national security of our country by hiring former government employees to be lobbyists. That it's the crypto company lobbyists. That's who the evil people were, according to Elizabeth Warren. She must just be senile. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, we'd love to have you on the show, but until you come on
Yes,
and be
educate.
part of the discussion, we're gonna beat you up because you have some really old and archaic, and you must have some bad advisors on your team
Yes,
that are giving you bad advice because the things you say are just not true. They're
yes,
just not true. And even when confronted with the evidence from our own U.S. Treasury,
yes,
the Bank of Canada, the various chain analysis, and all of those groups that do that said, no, actually you're wrong, and cryptocurrency fraud generally is about the same as in Visa, MasterCard, which is just about the same in fraud in all financial industries. It's following the similar patterns as everything else. It's not better. It's not worse. It's the same. It's not evil. And you still double down on it, Senator Warren. You double down and say, nope, it's only for scammers. And then you get Jamie Dimon on and saying, yeah, well, if I was the government, I would have outlawed it. It's only for scammers.
oh
Yet
man,
here we are every day talking about trading crypto. And I'm not Pedro, are you a scammer? Some of you viewers probably are scammers. I know. Where's my camera? I know someone out there is a scammer. Why? Because we've all met them in crypto before. You know who you're talking about, Disco.
Mm. Oh, bro. Listen, Miss Warren, you just need to get better advisors. That's really all it is. You just need to get better advisors, and whoever's advising you,
I knew I'd get a comment
just
from Chuck on that one. Oh snap!
oh snap. Just
That's
get
gonna be
better
when
advisors.
Pedro and I are we're gonna put together. I'm gonna put together a T-shirt store for people, and a lot of the T-shirt options were gonna be our sayings. I'll have be there and just do it, and for sure Pedro's gonna have his is oh snap.
Oh snap. I have scammers calling me on my phone all the time, but they don't make cell phone legals. But they
Their cell
don't
phone's
make
illegal. That's
illegal.
right,
Yeah,
ladies and
good
gentlemen.
point.
And
That's
and
actually
and you know what? The other day in my neighborhood in Chicago, the bank got robbed, and they left in a car. That's it. All cars are used for scams. That's it. Scammers. And people they buy things on Facebook Marketplace, and they meet in a parking lot. That's it. No more parking lots.
gotta get rid of them. Gotta get rid of them.
I got to tell you,
Sorry.
I bought something once on Facebook Marketplace. It was just some parts for a sink. It was an odd sink, and I couldn't find the parts online. And then I go to Facebook Marketplace, and sure enough, a guy in Ottawa was selling them. And I was like, all right, and I hadn't bought on Facebook Marketplace before, and so I did the transaction. He's like, all right, let's meet in the parking lot by the front door of whatever the big department store was. I said, okay. And as I get closer, I'm not texting, but messaging through the app. And I'm like, I forget. I think I was driving my old Tahoe. I'm in a Tahoe, and the guy said, "I'll approach it quickly." And I was like, "All right." And in Canada, you can't carry a gun. But in the U.S., a lot of us are always armed. And so I'm like, damn it, I'm in Canada. And that was not the response I was looking for. I'll approach quickly. 2 seconds later, an old beat up town and country minivan comes up next to me. I'm like, it's a drug deal. So I'm looking around for the jump out team from the cops that are waiting, bad boys, what you gonna do? And I'm like, and he just holds the bag out and he's holding onto it. And I'm like, now's the time. So I hold the money out. We make the switch. And he goes, Vroom! He could have handed me a bag full of stinking dog poo, and I would have bought it. I was like, I got exactly what I bought, and it worked out well. But I felt like I had been either in a drug deal or scammed. Kind of like trading meme coins. You don't know. You get that sinking feeling. Oh, let's see. What does Chuck say? Chuck says, my pocketbook still weepeth. Yes, from the days of disco. You don't know what we're talking about, Pedro. It was a particular scammer that had us scammed us, even though many of us met him in person. Still scammed us.
Just so everybody knows as well, there's a major bombing thing going on right now in Yemen, and America and England are straight up bombing the junk out of Yemen hard. So,
like in real time right now?
Yeah, it's actually happened. It happened last night, yesterday, and then today. I was going to bring it up yesterday, but we had I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that you can go through and just look up the UK and American bombing of Yemen, primarily because we're pretty pissed off at them taking over our ships, or trying to.
It's such a bad plan. It's just the whole world's supply chain.
Yeah,
it revolves on major cargo ships and shipping, and the whole economy, not just oil, the whole economy, from fake doggy doo you buy in Hong Kong to the that's a line from Top Gun, by the way, and to everything you buy. Like the other day, a ship got attacked. Like almost all the containers on it were for Canadian Tire here in Canada. It's coming from China, and like it's gonna piss. With the British and the Americans, we're gonna go pound them. Well, one of these days, the Chinese are gonna get pissed off, and they don't have rules of war like we do. They're just gonna come in and just, scrape your whole country into the sea, Yemen, and so they're like, that was that. So I would suggest stopping it, you guys.
Part of me
bad plan.
Part of me almost feels bad because this is set. I feel like this could set up for a world war with the. I don't know. Maybe UAE will side. They probably will. They probably will side because they are more.
They're dollar based over there. The whole Middle East is dollar based.
Yeah. So
except for the crazy nations taking the money from Iran. Basically, the countries over there sort out into three easy categories to remember: U.S. dollar based, Iranian, whatever their currency is based, because they take money from Iran, which is Yemen, and the ones that have some leaders who have a little bravado that are U.S. based or dollar based and Westernized countries, but they want to be seen as not U.S. under the thumb of the U.S., and so they play with their friends over in Iran, and like Qatar does, and as we can see, Qatar is becoming people are pulling their money out of there because it turns out all the leaders of Hamas are living there as wealthy billionaires.
Shocking.
Shocking, yes, I know, if you guys recall, that happened once in the UAE, and I told the story of being at the hotel where the assassination happened. So those countries, ultimately, they want the economy, they want their wealth, and they want their sovereign wealth fund, which in all of those countries, that sovereign wealth fund is not invested in their own country. It's mostly invested around the world just for basic, diversification rules. And while they use a lot of that sovereign wealth fund to build things and infrastructure in their own country, You know, a lot of it's sitting on Wall Street and other places because it's safe there, and it's safe from the Iranians. But the Iranians are causing a big mess there, and they're giving a lot of money to Yemen right now, and as a result, they're getting the business end of Carrier Strike Group.
It's really interesting. The also to throw out the Indian stock exchange is now overtaken by market cap the Hong Kong market cap exchange.
That's interesting.
Really interesting. I was looking at because I went through and been looking at just like I this is one of the things and I brought it on here. I have it on my other some of my other charts. So what I'll do is I'll do this right here. I'll go through Europe and a lot of the other places around the world, and I just want to see what's actually going on with their market. So like here's China. Here's China's market. Normally
Oh,
I'll
sorry,
go.
I don't. Hold on, I gotta go back to your screen.
Okay.
There you go.
So China's market right here. Boom.
I'm gonna take 5 minutes to freshen up, as they say. I'll be right back.
All right, we'll do so. All right, so this is it right here. Look, so and it's like really interesting when you sit there. Like here's China. This is their market. Definitely a lot lower than ours. Obviously, we've talked a lot about what's going on with their economy and everything that's correlated with that. Here's India. Big difference. A big difference. This one right here is South Africa, right? So you can sit there and see what's actually happening with them. They're doing decent, not necessarily as strong as we are, but I mean, it ain't China's. So there you go. Um, you can see here is South Korea. South Korea is kind of going sideways here, but you know what? Tell you the truth, it's probably not like North Korea's. Forgive me. You can see here we have Taiwan. Now, this is what was really interesting. Hearing the nonsense come out of Trump's mouth about Taiwan yesterday, I was like, seriously, like, just dude, be quiet, man. Like, just you really like. I think he just needs to make sure he talks to his advisors before he starts opening up. He didn't really outright come out and say that. I think it was this or a couple days ago, where he basically just said, "Yeah, you know what? They took a lot of our conductor business." I was like, "Bro, please, just bro, come on." Oh snap! Anyways, so so Taiwan, this is their stock market. And I basically just look at it. You can see right here, I have it in months. So this is where we're sitting right there. They're about break even. Boom, right? They came up, came down, boom. And I'll cut through here and I'll just check these out because there's just quick little things to see what's going on in the market as overall. Boom. You have Japan. Japan showing decent. Now, what was really interesting is Japan broke out of their 20-year, 30-year cycle that they've had. So they broke out, sold off, but now they're starting to come in with a lot of volume push up, right? So you go right here, look at the Hong Kong. It's selling off. It looks a lot like China, right? We already went over that. Boom. Boom. As you can see here, Australia index. Look, if you look at this, they're fairly strong, right? In comparative, they should be, because a lot of their stuff is based off of gold. So they should be kind of following what gold is doing. You can see here you have New Zealand. New Zealand is a little kind of dead there, but not in a bad way. Just, it's not as strong. You can see here you have Brazil. Brazil, right? Brazil here. Actually, Brazil should not be here. Brazil should be in the Americas. Brazil, as you can see, it's kind of sideways right here, but they're another strong company. They started BRICS, right? Boom. And if you notice, a lot of the BRIC nations are out there showing a lot of weakness here. So it's actually really different. You can see here that you have Mexico. Mexico showing a lot of strength, right? A lot of the semiconductor businesses is actually going over there. So you can see that. You can see here, the Canadian index here is moving actually about not halfway. I would say it's where we at compared to last year. Boom, it's down from no, forgive me, it's up from last year from a small amount. You can see here, Peru. This is what I try to do, right? I try to go through and just quickly see what's actually going on every day. Checking out Argentina with the new president. Argentina, man, has been legitly just, it's really interesting. Ooh, I don't know if money's running into them because of what we're watching. So, oh, here we go. Here we are. Argentina. I don't know if it's because people were expecting really good things from the new president, and so we've seen a lot of money kind of come into them. It's really interesting to see this as we're moving forward with what is happening with that new president. But there is a pretty decent amount of money coming through there. The other part, and then I just simply kind of go through here and just kind of run through everything. This is Europe here. So I'll come through right here, Europe, Belgium, Denmark, right, Finland, Germany. I was actually shocked. I thought Germany would be much stronger, but it's not necessarily like, look at the volume that's leaving it, right? Overall. But yeah, this is what I like to do, to go through and just kind of see how the whole entire world goes, and then compare it to America. And again, a lot of these also, I'm pretty sure they go through and they balance their stock markets, so you can actually sit there and gauge what's actually happening within on an intrinsic level. What's actually happening versus here in America, we mess with the numbers here quite a bit at times. So it's really interesting to see what's happening. So you guys have any other questions for me? If you don't mind me asking, you guys want me to look at anything? Did I miss the UK chart? Pedro must. There we go. Pedro must have made some money in crypto and upgraded his ward. Nah, definitely not, man. I am a like legit. Let me. Oh snap! Bum bum bum. My pocketbook still weeping. New photo, Pedro. Yeah. Clean shave and wearing a suit. Very professional. Have we looked at BNB chart today? No, not yet. We'll go check that out right now. I may have missed it. So, and then the UK. So we'll check out BNB and the UK chart. So the UK is right here, and it's really interesting. Where's it at? No, it's not Germany. UK. It was Finland, Denmark. How you doing, buddy? Everything come out all right?
Yeah, got some new tea. Got a little bite to eat.
Nice,
Emptied
man.
what needed to be emptied.
Nice. Drop the boys over at the pool. So you
I,
can
I
see right.
I think Pedro's. You probably addressed this while I'm gone, but that picture's of him a while ago, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but it still kind of looks like me. But yeah, you guys can see right here that the UK has been going sideways pretty much since 2017. You can see that this is where you guys have been setting right here, right in this level, about right here. You guys have been just oscillating between here. And of recent, from 2019, you guys haven't been able to push through that 34 mark area on your guys's system. So it's really interesting. But yeah, from a standpoint, the whole entire world is kind of going sideways, and the only way they can actually fake the GDP numbers is by switching around the numbers and taking in and taking out certain parameters. Sit there and say, yeah, we went up 2% this past year from a GDP standpoint, and you're like, really? Sure, all right, so it's just real interesting as we see it. Let's check out BNB here real quick. BNB watch list.
Pitmonk did mention. Did I miss the UK chart? What were you going over countries?
Yeah. So I was just going over countries and kind of what I do to kind of get a little general overview for the day. So like if you run the markets throughout the night, right, and you look at, let's say if the market was primarily going down throughout the night, I can sit there and say, especially like China, if they had a big huge sell-off or another, you can see potentially what's actually where the money is transitioning in and out of the markets. So that's what I try to look at a lot of times real quick. And it's not, I don't sit there and do a deep analysis. This is part of what I do. Like as Tom says, I've got a lot of things that I look at so that I can understand from a very meta narrative charting perspective, not necessarily fundamental, but from a charting perspective of what I'm looking at. Um, but let's check out BNB here. Here we go, BNB. So BNB here is playing in between. It's still fairly holding strong. It isn't selling off like Bitcoin. Um, but what's really interesting is that it's still staying in our area here. So it's a good sign. Honestly, it's actually a good sign to sit there and say it's not even close to the 100-day. It's barely just touching that 50-day period moving average. So I don't know what's holding on to this, but them BNB diamond holders are real. They real. Like they ain't messing. They're like, nah, man, take my house, take my mama, but don't take my BNB. That's just how it
Well,
rolls.
interesting. Like it was forming a nice flag there
Hmm.
until the sell-off starting last night. And people I saw all over the internet, people were saying, "Load up on BNB, load up, load up. The next leg up is coming." All right, but it looks like they tricked you.
Well, it still might, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's one of those things that I feel like with all of us as we're seeing the market sell off again, this is a most people now have a basket, right? So when people are selling their basket, obviously BNB is probably in the top third, right, of that allocation, money allocation. It'd be silly for you not to have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. It's like having Google, Facebook, and Microsoft. Like it's
Right,
just like you don't create a system because when they go down at a very small amount, and if they go up a decent amount, right? Because it's the overall market as we speak is a buy sell. Everybody works, and part of their money goes to what when they work besides like daily living, which your 401k, your investments, your pensions, right? And all that stuff is kept in the stock market. So it's dominant. We have a dominant side of buyers, right? So typically the markets will most of the time go up unless it's right now where it's over simplified in other countries that we've talked about earlier because everybody invested in a certain way and the government messed things up. So it's just really, really interesting.
well, Chuck, maybe you saw the few large buys today because people have been expecting it with that flag forming, and people talking about the good things about Binance because they're getting their, I guess they got all their scandals under control. That it would be good for the token, and so when a dip happens, the buyers come in.
Yes.
Space Cat says, "I think your best bet is on BNB and not Bitcoin." Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Well, I guess your bet depends on what? For just general appreciation or X's? If it's X's, um, I don't think either one of them are a good bet. Uh, for 10, 15, 50% gains, I think both of them are good bet. But if you're looking 5, 10x, those are all a long way off. Got a couple more years of inflation need to ruin things. Pit Monk says, "Take my house, take my mother, but you're not having my NetZ." Full disclosure, I am an owner of NetZ. I bought a few $100. Let me rephrase that. Bought less than a few $100 worth a little bit ago. And since we promoted a lot, I said that I would just buy some, not on it because anyone told me I needed to, and I didn't get anything free or anything like that. I just bought some just because it was what we were talking about. And generally, what happens when you buy something, you pay more attention to it. So that's what I do.
So hopefully it'll do a 10,000x,
Right.
and then you can take me out for dinner.
Yeah, 10,000. Add 5 zeros to my $200. Or I
Yeah.
should wait. Well, I guess it was $200. Now it's 150.
That's oh
All right,
man.
you main NetZ people, what's coming up? I asked you yesterday. What's coming up? There's some news. There's something coming up. Give us the news. Let us know, or at least let us know when the news is going to come out.
So just so you know, I want to point this out because it's really interesting. So while you guys are sitting there, uh, the amount of wars that are going on in the world, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Syria and Yemen versus UK and USA. You have North Korea. Oh, this is the other one. North Korea is talking about trying to invade and take out South Korea.
That's not gonna happen.
Well, this is what's actually going on, right? So, they're ramping up the war stuff. They're trying to get in the mix as well. I hope that I never pray for war. I never like. I just don't. I hate war. I am a pacifist. I'm not against using guns, right? I'm a red-blooded American. I believe in holding your guns. But from my own personal religious standpoint, I'm not, I'm not against anybody having guns. I was in the military. I know how to shoot guns. And I'm very good at it, right? But for my own personal use, I don't have, I don't have family. I
Now,
don't have
shooting a
kids.
gun and shooting a tomahawk missile are quite different.
Right. Good.
Different results.
Yeah, exactly. But the reason why I say this is if anybody was to try to come in, right? Let's say Mexico or Canada comes up here and they want to rumble a little, they want to have a little fun, and you're gonna hurt my fellow man over here, bro. I'm gonna take you out. But it's interesting though, is North Korea and South Korea plus USAA. So this was really interesting because I was looking at because remember I talked about yesterday, I think it was day or 2 days ago, when I said how much of the world is at war?
Lots of it.
A lot
That's
of
why
it.
bullets are expensive. My gosh, yeah, ammo is expensive. It's because everyone's buying and killing each other with it.
Dude, that breaks my heart. But what was more interesting was this. So when I looked at that, I said Iran versus US, Germany, UK, and Australia. But the key in all of this is this. We're supporting the Ukraine war by helping Ukraine. We're supporting Israel, US, by helping with Palestine, everything like that. The Yemen and Syria war, USA's in it. North Korea versus South Korea, USA.
U.S.
We're
is in the
support-
middle of that. We got all kinds of troops in the demilitarized zone there. That
yes, we
war's
do.
that the war from the 1950s is officially not even over.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
There's not been any end of hostilities treaty, just a gentleman's agreement not to kill everybody.
How far is the distance between one and the other? Is it like 100 yards or something like that? I forget.
No, it's more than that. They have a pretty good a standoff zone. I'm sure one of our listeners has worked there at some point in their life in the military.
Mhm.
And remember, Trump famously visited it and stepped over the line into North Korea.
Yeah, you did, dude.
Technically he committed a crime because no Americans allowed to go into North Korea without approval from
Like Kim Jong Un.
no, from the Treasury Department.
Oh, is it? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Oh, that's funny. Is Mike? So it's really interesting. So I wonder where Michael Saylor is going to come in and buy Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are he's going to buy it here, there, up, down, all around. His mind is Bitcoin is going to many hundreds of thousands of dollars for each token or for each Bitcoin. And so he doesn't care whether he buys it at 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, probably 50, 60, 70,000. I don't think he cares. I think he's just going to keep buying it. And as the price of Bitcoin goes up, his stock and his company goes up and like crazy. And he's got all kinds of money to buy it. And it's just it's the most self-perpetuating cycles are with money are things that go in the toilet. For him, he gets wealthier and wealthier and has more opportunity to get wealthier as he gets wealthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the most amazing thing. Obviously, if price go down, not good for him. But he's not. Turns out, he at one point he did buy. I was reading this article. He did buy a bunch of Bitcoin on margin, or not. Maybe not margin isn't the right word, but used loans, like on leverage. So that's when we were tracking him, like, oh, Bitcoin going up. He could get liquidated, that type of stuff. And the market was trying to liquidate him. And then he filed some SEC filings that said they sold some stock or raised some money, whatever, and paid off all their existing loans, or most of them, or redid them, or whatever the story was. And so everyone's like, oh, well, that man's got cash. Uh-oh. And then he starts going on a buying spree. He's buying 10,000 BTC, 16,000 BTCs. And so I think he's just, obviously I won't try to speak for him, but by watching his actions, I don't think he cares. It's entirely possible that with just a quick pump in BTC, he could be the richest man in the world, very quickly. If BTC goes to 200, 300, 400,000, he could be right up there on the top.
Yeah, wow, I didn't even think about that. How much does he actually have of Bitcoin?
I'm sure it's Googleable. I had a page tracking it, and I was trying to open one of those pages yesterday on the air, and I couldn't find it anymore. Apparently, my bookmarks are not syncing between computers, even though the little button here says syncing.
Sync. Yeah, I noticed that. It's very frustrating. Bing, Google, it says, "Oh, sync yourself," but it doesn't. Y'all need to work on that. I'm just saying. I love what you guys are doing, but I just don't like the fact that it says it's supposed to do something and it doesn't. It gets quite frustrating. Here, let me jump here real quick because it's really interesting.
Sorry about that. Let me go back to PitMonk and see. Let's see. Here we go. PitMonk, Neo Tokyo are teaming up. Devs say 200 projects planning to launch. Dex opens 16th of February. Has its own swap NFT marketplace. List is very long. DYOR, guys. We will DYOR for sure. I think this will be big in 2024. If 200 projects are planning to launch on mainnet Z, there's got to be a lot of talk about it. So, PitMonk, if you could direct us to wherever they're talking about that, because if there's 200 projects, that means there are 200 devs, and they got to be talking about it somewhere. So let us know where they're talking about that. Let's see. On the topic of the monies, Dara says it's a coordinated effort to stretch the U.S. and make the U.S. keep spending. That's probably true. There's no doubt. The Iranians know that they cannot beat us militarily 1-on-1 or even 5-on-1. But death by 1,000 cuts works also. also a good strategy. PitMonk says it pays contract owners 40% of the gas, 45% to stakers, 10% burned. I'm very bullish on this one. I don't know what your reference to. He thinks many millions, not thousands. MicroStrategy guy, Michael Saylor. I'm getting ads for Michael Saylor now, saying to click this, and I might add on YouTube and on Twitter to click or take a picture of the QR code to go to a website where they're going to airdrop you. Now, Michael Saylor is not in that business, and it's like. It's really, he goes, "Hi, I'm Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy," and he talks about the airdrop, and then you see the face do a little and then he's talking about the airdrop and click the QR code, and then it goes and then all of a sudden it comes back, and it's clear there's no way Michael Saylor is airdropping anybody tokens and random projects. It's got to be a scam. Yet YouTube allows it to happen. The fake AI doesn't say this is an actor trying to pretend he's Michael Saylor. It says, "Hi, I'm Michael Saylor," and it's not. I don't know, why is that allowed? YouTube, why is that allowed? Twitter, Elon, why is that allowed? I get the guy from Solana every day talking about an airdrop to send to go to this thing, and there's it's obviously a scam, but they're out there on advertising. They're probably getting zillions of views, and people are poor guys that are just getting into crypto and haven't watched our show. Are clicking the links and taking pictures with their phones of the QR codes.
If you guys have a Twitter account, you should, if you don't mind, hit the share button on Twitter for our Twitter account for our, whatever we're live streaming. I normally do that. I'm actually going to do that right now because I did not do that.
Chuck Jansen says, "Look at those subscribers." Yeah, we're kicking butt on subscribers, but they're not coming over to our live show. So we gotta. If anyone knows of a good strategy to get random subscribers that to come on over. That's why I was looking at our analytics, saying a bunch were from South America. There's a bunch from Asia too, and they don't get notified of us going live when it's not a period during which they're on their phones. Like if you don't get notifications at 4 a.m. Hey, Tom and Pedro are live. Or if you do get them, we're long over by the time you wake up. All right, let's look at X and see how we are with that. Oh, of course, I'm not fucking logged in on this computer.
That's all good. It looks like we are doing. Actually, I can't see it. So, 20 views, not bad. We got 20 views over here. Real quick. Hit that heart button, that like button, the share button. That would help quite a bit there. And the fact is, news that we got to bring up is that Elon Musk is talking with Mr. Beast and talking about literally going through. And this is what's blowing me away. I just don't get this. The guy's making millions of dollars on YouTube, and Mr. Beast is saying, you know what? If Elon Musk is serious about paying a higher amount, I'll post all my stuff on Twitter versus YouTube. So it's really interesting to see like this dynamic. And I wonder if YouTube is going to be willing to sit there and be like, you know what, we don't want to lose him. He is phenomenal. He brags about us. We want to keep him. You know what I'm saying? It's like I wonder what could happen. You know, and then if that happens, then would YouTube, because everybody will start to move over to Twitter instead of YouTube. So it's really interesting, right, to see.
Yeah, Pedro, you and I were talking about this behind the scenes, but the Twitter just doesn't have it yet for watching. There's my post. Yo. Twitter just doesn't have it. Like with YouTube, it's so easy and everyone knows how to do it, and you can watch videos. At Twitter, it's just hard because you have to do. You either have to. Twitter is a scrolling thing, scrolling. And you either have to stop scrolling and focus on it, which is really hard. Generally, when you're a scroller, it means you're in ADD mode and you're scrolling. And that's why views are so short. Or you have to, open up the window in a new browser. And if you're on your desktop, that's one thing. You can just put it over here on another monitor or on this part of the monitor or even on another tab and you can still hear it and click over when you want to see it. But if you're on your phone, it just goes away. And it's very hard to watch things. And so I think Mr. Beast, from watching his shows and his follow-up shows and when people interview him, he does a lot of analysis. He analyzes stuff endlessly. And I think he's going to come to the same conclusion that I have, is that it's very hard on Twitter to actually watch a show. You can watch shorts really easily, 5-second videos, maybe a minute-long video. But other than that, you're scrolling.
You know, it's interesting because you're right. It does kick off a ton of dopamine. When you're scrolling, your brain is constantly getting fed dopamine kicking in. And so it's really hard for you to actually stop. That's actually a really good point. Really good point.
Texas says, my bro, Tricky Buddha, does space intros and sales advertising in his that's the wrong word, but he is a 100% good guy and has some cheap reach. Yeah, we get people contacting me every day on that, but most of them are scammers. Oh, we'll get you views and all this type of stuff. It's not what we're looking for. Pedro and I aren't looking for views. Like I said, we're starting to get a lot of views on some of the recorded videos I've done.
Yep.
But what we want is more live viewers and interactions with people, and the live viewers that you can buy are just the numbers go up type things. Like they get a village in the Philippines to watch you.
Literally.
And it works because all you're like, hey, we got 1,000 viewers. But there's no interaction. And then YouTube quickly figures it out. Wait a minute, this was a one-time thing from a village in the Philippines, and then they subtract them all. They subtract your viewers, and they derate you. So the trick is to get more viewers for this by having good content and conversations and hitting it every day at the same time. Pedro and I have learned, and as they say, number go up.
Number go up. And just consistently even doing it. I mean, you know what's funny?
No need to apologize, Texas. Sorry, we all fat finger things every now and then. We got you on that. We figured it out. Yes, gotcha. Yeah, Chuck says we need more chatty people like us. If you can keep us talking on topic, Pedro and I going at it, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I'll bring this up. This is true. So, you can have crap engagement, or excuse me, wrong word. You can have crap content, but if you got engagement, dude, they will boost you. So you guys hitting all this stuff, you guys communicating, talking with us, asking questions, going over stuff, that right there will boost us enough to where then somebody else will come along. And you've seen, we got Texas Monk, we got Pit Monk, or Texas Wolf. You guys found us through somebody else, and then hence, that's what brought us. That's what helps.
Well,
Straight up.
a great example of this, not to say we're have the same kind of content, but a great example of what you're talking about, Pedro, is BitBoy. BitBoy always had crap content, or just shit he made up, or drama. He would make some kind of drama about something, and I am this, and I am blah, 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 blah. But people were like, yeah, man, yeah, man. And his comment sections were flying like crazy. His Twitter at the time when he was back doing good stuff, his Twitter was afire, that type of stuff. And so that's what it was about. They got good content. Good engagement. He had crap content. But ultimately, didn't work out so well for him because he put all of his content up his nose. Not disparaging anyone. Drug addiction's a horrible thing that I don't wish on anyone because you just don't get over it. And BitBoy suffered from it. And it cost him. But even when he tries to come back, he still gets a couple hundred people watching his show. And if you get a couple hundred people watching your show live, the sponsors come. The sponsors come.
You know what? That would be nice. I look forward to the first day where, you know what I thought about? Like,
What's
legit, is taking whatever, like our first big like sponsor, right? Where they say everyone give you $10,000 or something like that, right?
Ooh.
And I mean, like realistically, right?
Right.
And then from there, actually kind of give it away. You know what I'm saying? And just sit there and literally be like, or maybe half of it, right? Because maybe
Right. I was
half
going to
of
say, I
it-
got to give some of it away to my landlord.
Good point.
And my children in university.
Yes, but I also mean though, like give it to, maybe have a Twitter elite, where like we can give it out or do. I don't
No,
know.
we definitely need to do something like that
Yeah,
when the sponsors come.
yeah, somewhere, we know they agree. All right, we'll give you 2,000 a month to do XYZ. We're like, all right, cool, yeah, absolutely. And so we can get part of that like once a month, where the people who shared us the most, or the people who gave out, and we just say thank you, just thank you. Here you go. We really appreciate that, And who brought more people in? All of a sudden we got 30, 40 people because somebody brought in other people like Pit Monk or other people, right? And it's like, thanks, man. Here you go. Thank you for shilling us and putting us out there. So, anyways, we'd appreciate that. One day when we get to that point. Side note, what we were
There's Mr.
talking
Dog.
about, personal holdings for Michael Saylor for Bitcoin has 17,000, and this is as of January 23, 2024, off of Bard within within Google. All right, so he has 17,732. MicroStrategy holding of Bitcoin is 189,150 Bitcoin. So
he
there you go,
controls
man.
205,000 BTC.
Well, personally, or you mean from a business standpoint?
No,
So
well, he's the chairman of the company, so he controls the company Bitcoin
yeah,
too.
good point. So it's approximately about 6.38 or 6,300,000,000, almost 400 million is where he's sitting right now. So based off where, and if you think about Bitcoin, what is that for Bitcoin market cap?
Uh, eight, I took 205,000 times 40,000 and got 8,200,000,000. So that's what I call a hedge against inflation. Any of the rest of you guys hedged like that? I'm pointing to my calculator here. Anyone else hedged against inflation to the tune of $8 billion? Just imagine that. Just think if Bitcoin goes up by 10x, everyone's sitting pretty, and Saylor's sitting on 80 billion, and the value of his company basically probably 10x's too, and then he's even more wealthy. It's just gonna pile on for him here. I mean, frankly, it's somewhat genius. I gotta say, because the existing tax laws. I mean, they could lump some huge tax on cryptocurrency luxury wealth and to tax rich people even more. But he's put a lot of this in his company. And so when a lot of it's in his company, it's just traded on Wall Street. He doesn't even need to sell the Bitcoin. He can just sell all the shares in his company, and he can take all the money and run. And it's all long-term holdings for him, so he's only going to pay 15% tax on it.
That's crazy.
That's what you call a win-win situation. What the hell do I have on my mustache here?
Oh man, that's crazy. Did you see about Mount Gox? Mount Gox moves seemingly closer to Bitcoin repayments for.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to figure this one out. You or anyone listening. I'm pointing to all the people here in the big studio audience here. When that comes out of bankruptcy and they said they're going to refund the Mount Gox holders, are they sending the Bitcoin back to them? Or are they sending the value of the Bitcoin on the day it was stolen?
Day of stolen. There's no way they have that amount of money.
No, but they have the Bitcoin itself. They have the Bitcoin. They recovered all that Bitcoin from that couple that
Stole it, yeah.
Either they stole it or they ended up with it after stealing it from the thief.
Yeah.
Whatever the story is, there doesn't matter. It ended up back in United States and where is it? Japan bankruptcy court. And so the question is, and I remember on our show, Caitlin Long said she got goxed. when I asked her if she'd been rug pulled, she said, "No, I've never been rug pulled, but I've been goxed."
Yeah.
In fact, I need to go draw that clip out and put it on social media. So when that Mount Gox news cycle hits again, that'll do well. So the question is, will they get their Bitcoin back? Because if they do, some people lost 5,000 Bitcoin.
Oh
at a few $100. That.
That would be life changing for people.
I know. Imagine that. Because all those people, you'd say, well, they would have had, if the Mount Gox hadn't got hacked, they would have that money today. No, most people sell. Most people make, very few people are true holders. They would have sold. If I had 10,000 Bitcoin back in the day, I can tell you for sure I would not have 10,000 Bitcoin today. I would have sold it to pay for things. I would have sold it to pay bills or to diversify my investments or something like that. I just know, I know myself. Dara says, I'm happy to explore sponsoring you guys and maybe get some rewards for the OGs here. Building a real estate ecosystem on Bitcoin level 2. All right.
Oh, snaps. Well,
Space Cat says, I have to leave for a few minutes. I have to make a crypto transaction. I think he's going to do that on the facilities. 8 billion. Did I miss your estimate for net Z market cap? No, Pitmonk. Good way to redirect the conversation back to you, though. I appreciate that's some great effort.
That's funny.
Not a big issue, but your voice has gone out of sync with the video by a half second. You killed my brother. Now we fight.
You and I right now. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, man, it's just really interesting about the Mount Gox situation, and I mean that's going to be. I wonder if people are going to hold, because that's quite a bit of Bitcoin. We're talking. I forget exactly the amount, but it's. I think it's unlocking 200,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like Michael Saylor.
Yeah, it's Michael Saylor, literally Michael Saylor. So it's one of those things that you're just like, wow, that thing can pop. I mean, that's life-changing money. I mean, $2 million, $3 million is, not a bad deal.
All right, let's change it up, Pedro, and go back to the charts for the end of the show and hit some of our usual suspects here.
Definitely.
Hit Caspa, hit Theta. Let's look into main net Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, the Pitmonk gave it quite the good shill here today, so we'll spend a few extra minutes listening to Pedro talk about mainnet Z.
Definitely. We'll check it out here right now. So, or we'll do Casper, and then we'll go down the usual suspects here. Oh, and I was gonna add, what was the other one? Theta, right? Theta. Is that it? Or Theta?
Oh, THETA.
ET. As you guys know, I'm the greatest speller in the world, and that is my gift to humanity. So, that's a very rare thing that I would misplace a spelling. Anyways, so here we go. So when it comes to Casper, like I've said before, I'm we're sideways here, but I'm expecting us to come down to that 779 area. As you can see here, we're picking up with selling volume, so we should see a decent sell-off down into these lower levels. As we come down, just be ready. Make sure that you're paying attention to the market so we can sit there and get in at the right levels here. Let's go ahead and check out again net Z. All right, guys, look, you can see here that we have a demand zone at these levels right here. So that's that 11 cent, 10 cent mark here. In addition to that, we're having the crossover on the daily, which is the 8 and the 20 period moving average. So to me, this is a bearish signal for myself as well. So for me, sitting there seeing that would be something that if we do bounce off this demand area here, we're going to need to be able to push through that. And right now you can see how that 8 period moving average is holding down sellers. You can see how we've tried to push through it, but it hasn't been able to close above it. And if in the next day, if we stay where we're at right now with net Z, we're going to see that next day, or that 8 and 20 are going to cross. And this is what we're going to call a what cross is that? A bearish cross. We'll just say it like that. So it's one of those things that we are looking to see that happen in the market. And when that happens, typically we're going to see another sell-off from an emotional standpoint within most people. From there, unless the community says we're all going to buy and it pushes the market up. But this is an emotional standpoint here. This a lot of times is the breaking point for most people. Like, oh no. And it's funny is most people don't even realize, like they're being controlled literally by their own personal emotions, and it's actually tracked with these moving averages, which is really interesting. So, but if that does happen, it's not bad. You guys can buy in again at these lower 11 cent, 10 cent
Good
marks.
morning, Chumbalone at Carmen Crypto. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful day. Actually, I just went upstairs and it's snowing like crazy here in Toronto, so still a beautiful day because we're on the air talking with friends. But yeah. Good morning, Carmen Crypto. As she says, like and share the live. Yes, do it. Do it. Just do it.
Just do it. You can see right here that we're like, so these are the two little areas that I'm looking for, to be purchasing net Z for myself. If I do, I'll let you guys know. But these are the areas that to me I see as good price points to purchase it. Maybe once we come down to this lower level here, probably midpoint here, I'll be looking to set up my first purchase, and then my second purchase will be down here, or I might just wait for it to come down into these levels here. Let's check out Solana. Solana is selling off quite a bit, like I've talked about. It's actually stronger than Bitcoin here. But it's still at a point where we went from $53 all the way down to 35. So again, that's 50. It'd be $1. It's 5.15.
What Solana chart is that? What are you looking at there? I thought Solana was up at $100 or $80 or something like that.
Is this? Oh, this is the market cap. Oh, wow. Forgive me. That's the market cap. I don't know why I have that. You're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good call. Let's go ahead and move to the
Solana
next.
should be like at $80 right now, I think.
Yes. Raven call here.
Raven coin?
Yep, Raven coin here is still showing some pretty decent strength coming in. Where even though it's having sell-offs, we're seeing a pretty pretty big defense against this area. So if it keeps defending this area, it should then we should start to see some push up of into the next zone up here. So that next zone would be we're looking at it. Boom. Right here. And place this right here, supply. That's gonna be this baby right here. So this would be the next spot I'd be looking to see this market here move into. So we could see this go from.
I got to learn how to use charts better. You do things quite easily that take me a long time to figure out how to do.
Well, I've been doing
Need
it
to watch
for a
some
while.
YouTube videos. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really. I just hit control, and then I just move it.
It copies it automatically.
Yep. And then if I do it, let's say if I want to read, let's say, okay, I want to delete it, control X, and then let's say I want to, if I accidentally, let's say I move this right here, accidentally, I hit control Z, puts it back to where
Undo.
it's supposed to be. Yep, undo. So this right here, this area, I would say, and let me check here, one last one.
Welcome all of you new viewers. I saw we incremented a little bit. Thanks for joining in. DYOR Live is a show that's on almost every day, at least 4 times a week. And we're generally on around noon U.S. time, 5 or 6 UK or Central European time. And we go over things like the markets. We talk regulation. We talk policy. We do lots of engagement with the audience and take questions. And we have lots of good interviews. And usually we try to get one guest a week or so on here, and try to have some good ones. We've had Caitlin Long on the show. We've had Patrick Dougherty on the show, who is the lawyer who took Coinbase to the SEC to get registered, and then they got kicked out, and he said he got rug pulled at the SEC. And we've had some other good people, too, here on the show. And we've had a lot of good people here, otherwise known as our viewers, watching every day and contributing to the cause, either by viewing and sharing us, or even some by monetarily sharing, which we will use to promote the show when YouTube pays us. And so thanks for tuning in, everybody that's joining us late. We're nearing the end of today's show, but we're just reviewing some of the usual topics that we talk about, usual charts that Pedro goes over for your enjoyment. So if you've got any suggestions or want us to look at anything, just put it in the comments.
Absolutely. So just let me know. But you can see here that this area here for Ravenclaw or Ravencoin, the next spot here is that 5 cents. So it goes from 1 cent to 5 cents fairly easy. But we got to break through that 400 period moving average. This is where you can see we've been playing off of quite a bit. But the fact is that we're seeing a lot of defense against going down, which is a sign of bullishness. So for me, that's something that would look, but it's got to break above that 400 period moving average, come back, retest it, and then see volume clear it. So we could see some more consolidation in between that 400 and 100 period moving average sitting right here. So be paying attention to that, to the breakout and then retracement. Iron coin here, the iron coin, we're still just waiting for it to come down to that weekly demand down at those levels there. Again, it's coming back down. I think when we started looking at it, I think it was up here. So it was like a couple weeks ago. So iron, you can see here, it's still following that 8 period moving average and potentially coming all the way down to that $1.30 to that $1.20. And if we see it blow through here, then this right here, you have that 200 as well as right below it, a 91 cent mark. So you could see some type of flash crash. A lot of times you'll see that where a market will sell off for a day, get the buyers, and then push back up and then continue up. So you would almost put, if you're going to, if I was to buy this is what I would look to do. I'd put my position down at these levels right here at that 200 and down these levels here, and then wait if they happen to put a flash crash and I would want to be able to buy in at these lower levels here as well. Let's check out theta here. Theta here again is following the 8-period moving average, and we can see here that, where are my lines? Man, theta, maybe it's under USD. Maybe it's, there we go. There we are. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here that we are in between the demand zones right here. We bounced off of this area, and now we hit the supply area. And now we're doing a sell-off. Basically, just wait for another supply area to, or another demand area to come into this level, see it hit it, and then push back up. That is what I'm expecting. I know we have the 200-period moving average sitting right here, but that 200-period average is more or less going sideways. It's not necessarily something looking like this, where you have that 50-period moving average or 89-period moving average coming in with a steep angle. So this is primarily something that I'm looking for to sell off down into these lower levels before I'm picturing to get into it. Let's go into the top 10 here real quick. Did anybody notify me for anything? Let me see.
Vegas. KB Well says Vegas in you. VIT. Oh, there's a
Crypto
cheap
be
show.
well. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Yeah, he's been around a while in some of the groups that I participated in. He and I did let me rephrase that. He ran a comedy night in one of our Telegram rooms and on YouTube once a while ago, and I handled the broadcasting for him. That was a great event. I really enjoyed that, and I wish you would do it again, KB.
All right.
Vegas in you token. Yeah, it's got a Carmen Crypto link to it, both in Vegas.
Bet.
VIT.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had it up there. I saw it.
Yeah, I had it, but then it's only USD, or it's only BNB.
That's probably only in BNB.
All right, here we go then.
You might have to go to PooCoin for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yes, sir. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The
KB, you need to give us the background on that one. I mean, we pull it up and it's a miserable chart, and it's dumping off today.
Is that the correct one there? It's no.
It's not I mean, most rug pulls are only up for a day or two now, but that one has at least been around a couple of months. Oof. Ouch.
So I would almost say
avoid that one.
Yeah, I would avoid it. If you want a long shot, if you want a moonshot, this good time to buy. It's at a demand zone, so I mean, you could sit there and buy it at this level, but you can see where there's no volume at all. Like literally, it's just selling off. So I would say stay away from it. At least if you're married to this and you like it a lot, at least you want to see it trend. You want to reverse this. If you could reverse this, right, and you see it bouncing off of that 8-period moving average, higher highs and higher lows, then yeah, I would sit there and say okay, but not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Anyway, Pedro, I've got he's not commenting on any more of that, but I do have a hard stop here in a minute because I've got a 2:30 engagement for another project that I have to do some stuff with. But in the meantime, I wanted to put up Carmen's website here. Carmen Crypto. Go to carmencrypto.com. And she's collecting, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but she's collecting stories of about crypto. If you've been wrecked, confession, you want to submit a story to appear on her website, stories about your all-time highs, who's a legend in the industry, that type of stuff. Submit them to Carmen Crypto. She's trying to boost her engagement. Carmen's been obviously good to us and appears on our show. In fact, Carmen and I have done probably 100 shows together at some point or another. Over the past couple of years. And I always keep waiting for Pedro to say, I'm going on vacation, but he never does. To have Carmen take his place. But it's not going to happen. And Carmen now has her own website, so go visit Carmen Crypto. Give her the love and the engagement also. What did Pitmonk have to say here? That chart would be good in a kid's playground as a slide.
Yeah, except that one. That one right there, man. That's syndicate flying. Bam! Bam! They fly
Carmen,
around.
thanks for joining us today. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. We had ended up with a good showing around over 50 live viewers today, unique live viewers. Probably in the end, it'll come in right around 60, 65 after the YouTube and LinkedIn algorithms kind of catch everybody. Like I always complain about, right now YouTube is saying that there's only been 10 live viewers or something like that, but then, has more likes than viewers. The YouTube views take a couple hours to catch up, which is unfortunate because, when you scroll through things and you're like, oh, there's only 2 viewers, I'm not, must not be any good, I'm not going to watch it. So it hurts us on getting new people for the live from just people scrolling because they see so low viewer count and they're like, oh, it must suck. But we take what we can get. But anyway, it's come to that time, the end of the show here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. On behalf of Pedro and myself, it's been a good day. We're off tomorrow. I've got to go downtown Toronto and do something with Mrs. Striking for the real world business type stuff. And Thursday, I believe we're going to be on a different time of the day. Pedro and I need to talk about it because I also have a middle of the day thing, I think. So we might be on a little later. You European people might have to miss out unless you stay up really late. Anyway, Pedro and I will sort that out. Pedro, any other topics before the end of the show comes to a close here?
No. That's about it. Just stay safe out there in that crypto jungle.
Stay safe in the crypto jungle. Well, it is the crypto jungle out there. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I always like to say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media universe world thingy. So glad that we got another episode of DYOR live on. We'll be off tomorrow. We'll be back at it Thursday and Friday of this week. So you guys need to be there, right? Right.